Not long ago, people could take a joke. They could hear an opinion they didn't like and just move on with their day. But now, say the wrong thing, make the wrong joke, even ask the wrong question. Boom, you're canceled. So what happened? Are we evolving as a society, becoming more thoughtful and aware? Or are we turning into a generation of fragile, easily offended people who can't handle reality? Let's talk about it. For years, people fought for free speech, the right to say what they think, challenge ideas, and even offend others. Because real conversations, real debates, and real progress happen when we're free to express different opinions. But somewhere along the way, it feels like something shifted. Now, it's not just about having an opinion. It's about having the right opinion. We see it everywhere. A comedian makes a joke that was totally fine 5 years ago, and now it's problematic. A movie from the past gets canceled because it doesn't match today's standards. A person expresses an opinion that's even slightly controversial, and suddenly they're being attacked online. The question is this real progress, or are we just getting too sensitive? Some argue that we should be more sensitive. Society evolves. What was once acceptable changes. There was a time when people smoked on airplanes, didn't wear seatbelts, and said offensive things without a second thought. We look back at those times and think, how could they have been so clueless? Maybe future generations will look back at us the same way. Words matter. Jokes that seem harmless to some can be deeply painful to others. If we can be a little more thoughtful, a little more careful about the impact of what we say, isn't that a good thing? Shouldn't we want to create a world where people feel respected and safe? That's one side of the argument. But now let's talk about the other side, the side that believes we've gone way too far. There's a difference between progress and overcorrection. A society that respects people's differences is a good thing. A society where people are walking on eggshells, afraid to speak, afraid to ask questions, afraid to challenge ideas. That's a problem. It's not just comedians and celebrities who are getting canceled. It's everyday people. A teacher loses their job over an old tweet. A student gets expelled for saying something out of context. A scientist's research is shut down because it might offend someone. At what point does protecting people's feelings start to hurt society? A world where no one is ever offended is a world where no one is ever challenged. And when we stop challenging ideas, we stop thinking critically. We stop asking the big questions. We stop growing. And here's something to think about. Who decides what's offensive? Standards change constantly. What's woke today might be problematic tomorrow. If we judge everyone by the standards of the present, then eventually, everyone is going to be canceled. But let's take a step back and look at why this is happening. Some people argue that social media is the real problem. Think about it. 50 years ago, if you said something offensive, maybe a few people got mad and that was it. Now, one tweet, one clip taken out of context, and it can go viral in minutes. Thousands, sometimes millions of people get outraged over something that never would have been a big deal before. It's not just about sensitivity. It's about outrage culture. People love calling others out. They love taking part in takedown culture. Why? Because it makes them feel powerful. Like they're on the right side of history. Like they have moral authority over someone else. And yet, at the same time, there's a contradiction. The same people who say we need to be kind, we need to be tolerant, are often the first ones to attack, to destroy someone's life over a mistake. Where's the kindness in that? But here's where things get interesting. Studies actually show that people today aren't more sensitive than past generations. What's changed is that our culture rewards outrage. Social media has turned being offended into a form of social currency. The more loudly you call someone out, the more attention you get, the more virtuous you seem. And let's not ignore how corporations play into this. Companies don't care about actual social progress. They care about a public perception. If canceling someone helps their brand image, they'll do it. If siding with one group over another makes them money, they'll do it. These corporations are playing both sides, and most people don't even realize it. So if outrage is profitable, and if calling people out gets attention, where does this all lead? Some say it leads to a weaker society, a world where no one takes risks, where no one dares to challenge ideas, where people censor themselves out of fear. And think about history. The greatest minds, the people who changed the world, were often controversial. If they lived in today's world, would they even be allowed to speak? Would their ideas be shut down before they even had a chance to be heard? So where's the line? What's the difference between holding people accountable and becoming too sensitive? Maybe the real problem isn't sensitivity itself, but how we respond to being offended. What if, instead of immediately reacting with outrage, we took a second to think? What if we challenged ideas instead of silencing them? What if we stopped acting like every disagreement is a personal attack? Because here's the truth. You will always be offended by something. Someone somewhere will always hold views that you find completely ridiculous. That's life. The question is, how do you handle it? Do you let it control you? Or do you push back, debate, and grow stronger because of it? So what do you think? Are we becoming too sensitive? Or are we just finally paying attention to things that needed to change? Do you think this is real progress? Or are we getting weaker as a society? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's debate this. But hey, if you get offended easily, maybe skip this one. If you like content that makes you think, that challenges you, that makes you question the world around you, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Let's keep this conversation going. And remember, real progress isn't about silencing people. It's about listening, thinking, and deciding for yourself. See you in the next one.